Hello, my wonderful friends. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Viv, and I talk all about overcoming binge eating and yo-yo dieting and emotional eating. And I'm happy to say that I am finally feeling back to my normal self. If you're new to this channel, I essentially went through a family health scare over the last 3 weeks and really brought my spirits down. But you know me, I really am set on focusing on the positives. And the one positive that going through an emergency family health scare, it was my dad, not me. But what that did is it brought my family together and it brought us so much closer, which I genuinely do not believe if something so drastic didn't happen. So that's the one positive. And we told my dad, we were like, you're basically the sacrificial lamb for our family that had to go through something tough to bring us all together. So thank you for that. Anyway, so in today's video, we are going to be talking about why discipline and willpower is not working in helping you overcome emotional / binge eating / yo-yo dieting. And so what a lot of people, and myself included, did not know is that we are not just emotional eating. We're not just binge eating because we want to feel bad, because we want to hate ourselves. That's not why we're doing it. And I feel like a lot of people think that way. And so they get so upset with themselves and so frustrated with themselves of like, why am I doing this? Why do I suck? I hate myself. Like, what's wrong with me? And what we need to understand is that we are eating our feelings, we're binge eating, we're emotional eating to meet an unmet need. To meet an unmet need. And a lot of us don't even know that we have needs. One of which is to feel safe. To feel safe. Imagine if your house was burning down in a fire, right? You would not feel safe. One of the most important human needs is that we need to feel safe, to feel like we are going to be okay. And so if we don't feel safe, whether that's in our work, like maybe we feel like we might get fired or lose our job, or we don't feel safe in a relationship, like our partner is threatening to leave us, for example, we will use food as a way to feel safe. And I know that sounds weird, like how does food make me feel safe? But what it does is it helps put you in a relaxed and calm state, and it takes you out of your head and out of your mind, because you know when you're overeating and binge eating, you basically turn off your mind. So it helps you escape the feelings of insecurity that you are feeling. And that's just one example of a need that we use food to meet. Another is feeling loved or feeling I guess the opposite of feeling lonely. I know for me, one of the biggest reasons why I used to binge eat is because I felt so lonely. I felt so disconnected from the world, from people around me. And so I would use food to help soothe my feelings of loneliness that I was experiencing. I know I could just sit there with a tub of ice cream and just feel so good for 5-10 minutes. Yes, I would feel terrible after, but those 5 to 10 minutes were absolute bliss and made me forget how lonely I was. It made me forget that I was disconnected and I didn't feel like I had friends or loved ones that I could turn to, but damn, could I turn to ice cream, you know what I mean? So it's so important that you understand that we're not just binge eating to feel bad. And I need you to let go of the anger and upset and frustration that you have with yourself, because you are using food to meet a need. And that is your what's the word they call your child self, your the part of you that doesn't feel safe, that doesn't feel loved. It's using food to help her feel okay in this world that can feel big and scary. And I know it may feel weird because you're like, I'm a grown ass adult. You know, why do I need to feel safe and loved and all these things that we often ascribe to children. But you have to understand that adults are basically just large children. Adults are just large children who need to feel safe and loved and affirmed and be told that, hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, you're doing a good job. Hey, you are awesome. We are all just big children. And when you start to understand that we are all literally just large children walking around, and you stop trying to expect yourself to be strict and disciplined and you should be perfect and you need to meet all these expectations and be so disciplined with your diet and so great with your work and never make a mistake and never feel any negative emotion. When you let go of that expectation of yourself, because you realize, I'm just a giant baby. I'm just me, Vivian. I'm just a giant baby. You realize that, dang, I really just need more compassion and love for myself. And I need to start learning how to meet my needs in a way that actually meets those needs and feels good for me. Like, for example, if you feel lonely, maybe you need to reach out to somebody, to reach out to a loved one and say, hey, I feel lonely. And you probably have never allowed yourself to be vulnerable like that. It's like, oh God, telling someone I feel lonely, that sounds weak. That sounds weak. That makes me sound weak and like I can't take care of myself. Girl, we are all walking children. Literally, even the most successful people that that look like they have all of their shit together, that person is just a giant child who has needs that she also needs to be met. And if she doesn't, she's going to feel safe and unloved and worried. We all function this way. So again, once you start to see yourself as basically a child who has unmet needs, you stop trying to put so many rules and restrictions on yourself, which also contribute to the binge eating and emotional eating and yo-yo dieting. The biggest thing that I do with my clients is I give them the reassurance and the love and the support and the empathy and the compassion and the kindness that they never learned from, whether it was their parents or their teachers or the world or their environment or their society or their groups or themselves. They never learned how to just say, girl, you're doing the best you can. And that's amazing. And you're learning lessons along the way, and you are going to learn those lessons and you are going to do better tomorrow. But you did the best you could today. And just for that, I am proud of you. If you're my client right now, you know how much this is so important to me in remembering what you're proud of yourself for, even if it's the tiniest thing, even if it's the smallest thing that you can think of. You need to learn how to look for the things that you are doing well and that you are doing proud of. And then if there are things that you didn't do well or you feel like you could have done better, okay, what was the lesson? What was the lesson that you learned, and how are you going to implement that lesson in the future? But let go of this frustration and the expectation that you need to be perfect and that if you don't, you're bad, you're wrong. No, you are just a big child who is learning how to navigate this crazy world, and it's going to be okay. And you are okay. You're okay, and you are enough, and you are doing your best, and you are just going to continue to get better, which is the beauty of life. Okay? Okay. So if you would like to work with me one-on-one to master your emotions, master your mindset, master your health and your fitness and your nutrition and your body, then go ahead and visit my website, www.teamevolve.co, and submit an application form to work with me. And I will reach out to you if I think that we are a good fit, and we will talk from there. Now, you can also go ahead and follow me on my other social medias for more emotional eating, binge eating, and overcoming yo-yo dieting content on Instagram at Vivian No, and on TikTok at Vivian No with an underscore at the end. Now, if you would like to see more overcoming binge eating content from me, then feel free to click on this awesome video right here. And otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will absolutely see you in my next video. Bye, guys.